So far, we've seen that Node.js is great at doing things in the background, meaning asynchronously. But how does it manage all of this? So think of Node as a very efficient event planner. So you give it a task like maybe bake a cake and async operation, and then you don't stand there watching them often. Instead of you tell the planner when the cake is ready, please ring the bell. All right, so you can then go off and do other things when the cake is finally baked, and then the planner rings the bell. Now in Node.js, baking the cake is like reading a file or getting data from the database, emitting an event. So the action that you take when the bell rings is your event listener, a callback function. Many objects in Node.js like HTTP servers or file streams are built on event-driven architecture. At its core is a class called EventEmitter. Now the EventEmitter class provides two main methods. The on attaches a listener functions to a specific event, and then emit, it triggers the event calling all the listeners attached to it. Now let's build something practical to see this in action. We'll custom log a module. Instead of logging messages, it will emit events for different types of messages like success or error. Our main application can call the listen for this event and decide how to display them, maybe with different colors. So this is a powerful pattern for decoupling parts of your application. Now the first thing that we need is to create a logger module. So we will just go ahead and create a new file, and then we're going to call it logger.js. So this file will define our logger class, which will inherit all the capabilities of the built-in EventEmitter. Now we're gonna go and edit this file, EventEmitter, from events. So we'll need actually a package. We'll need a package for unique IDs. Now our logger class extends the EventEmitter. When this method is called, it emits an event. And then the event name is the type of the log. For example, it can be success or an error. And then we pass along a data object with a message and a unique ID as well. Then we're going to export the single instance of our logger. Now the next thing, our logger uses a package to generate unique IDs for each log entry. So let's install it from npm install UUID. Alright, then we're gonna create a new file called app-events.js. And then we also need to install chalk for the colors. Alright, so we're gonna import logger from and then let's import chalk as well. Import chalk from chalk. Now the next thing is to set up the event listener. We need to tell our logger what to do when it hears specific events. So maybe listen for the success event. So we're gonna say logger dot on, and then success, log data, okay, so I'm just going to minimize this so that we can have a bigger space. What did I do here? Okay, I see now. I'm supposed to use these braces. Log data dot id. Okay, then what we need to do, we can just copy this, a warning, and then here we're just gonna change a couple of things, like maybe sorry, I meant here, did I tap block? Where did I get? It must be black, not block, sorry. I don't know where I get block. So here the PG, maybe for warning we can just make the PG yellow, and so the rest of the things, they should be okay. So here we must just say it's a warning, right? And then we can, so this one is warning for access, it's a log for an access, listener for a success, and then listener for a warning, and then the third one will be the listener for an error. So error, and then error, and then here it's PG rate, PG rate, black. Now what we need to do, we can call the log method. It doesn't know or care about the colors, it only cares about emitting the right event. Okay, for now let's go ahead and do something like that. So we can say console dot log, and then say chalk dot blue, now we can just do those messages. So let's say the first one is success, and then maybe we can say something like the user successfully logged in, and then so the second one can be maybe success as well, and then we can just say maybe something like data loaded from the database, data loaded from the database, and and then maybe we can have warning. So maybe we can just say here memory usage is high, and then the last one, let's do an error. So let's say this is an error, and we can just say maybe failed to connect to the external API. Now we can run our app node app events.js, and then so you will see a beautiful formatted and colored output. So the key thing to understand is that the logger.js module has no idea about chalk or console.log. It didn't print anything. All it did was to emit events. Right now, our event app.events.js file is responsible for listening for those events and deciding what to do. So this is a clean separation of concern and a core pattern in Node.js development. Now, remember, Node is built around event-driven architecture, and the EventEmitter class is the foundation of the system. So we use on to listen for an event and .emit to trigger an event. So we build a practical logger module that extends event emitter just to create a decoupled and reusable components. So this pattern allows different parts of the application to communicate without being directly tied to each other. You now have a deep understanding of two pillars of Node.js. Its asynchronous nature and its event-driven architecture. In our next lessons, we'll combine these concepts to understand the streams, which are used to handle amount of data efficiently.